How's it going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with your boys, Alex and Ryan. So, holy shit, things are going down. Here we freaking go. Juan Soto is on the doorstep. We know that a couple players are probably in the mix here. You know, Jack Curry's saying it could be Michael King, Drew Thorpe, and then some. Look, I don't want to give up those guys, but if you get one of the best offensive players in baseball, a guy that is in the middle of a Hall of Fame career, it's hard to say no. And look, the truth is simple. If we go out and get Yamamoto, it doesn't matter if we lose Michael King. And Drew Thorpe, we don't even know what he's going to be. Now, we're going to talk about Alex Verdugo. What a freaking trade that was. No one saw that coming. I'm a little perplexed. The Yankees give away 3 prospects, including Richard Fitz, who's a pretty solid player. You know, there's a lot to kind of take from this. What are they going to do with Verdugo? We have some more information for you guys now. We have a lot of information on what they're going to plan to do with Verdugo. We thought maybe, could they flip him for Soto in a deal of that magnitude? It's unlikely. I don't think they're going to do that. Most people are saying the Yankees plan to keep Verdugo. Now, the interesting thing here, Ryan, is that we heard last at the trade deadline, they were thinking of swapping Gleyber Torres for Verdugo. The Yankees said, no, we're not giving you Gleyber Torres. They end up giving 3 right-handed pitchers, all prospects, all guys that have some upside, but obviously unsure what that's going to look like. And now, you know, if you're the Yankees, what do you envision this outfield looking like? We know that Jack Curry said a trade is likely for Juan Soto, but Ryan, give me your take on Verdugo, what you think he is capable of, what you think his role will be for the Yankees in 2024. Look, a Soto, Judge, Verdugo outfield, I'm 100% down for it. Does Verdugo have a troubled kind of character, checkered history? Sure. Not obviously very excited about that because I feel like we need to be getting better optics and not worse optics at some points. But you know, the truth is, as a pure player, he's about average. He can hold it down. He's a good supplement while Jason Dominguez recovers from Tommy John surgery. You know, how are you feeling about the trade?
So at first I was perplexed because there was probably a good 5-minute stretch before Passan and everybody else was like, no, they're still in on Soto, where I think everybody got flashbacks to that Josh Donaldson trade where it effectively eliminated them from the shortstop sweepstakes, and they watched guys like Carlos Correa and Trevor Story fly off the market, and the team was left with IKF and Josh Donaldson as their big deal of the offseason. But, you know, this isn't going to preclude a Juan Soto trade. They're actively talking. We're literally standing here, and we're in a position in which, you know, Juan Soto could break what we're talking right now. So that's how close the situation is. But for Alex Verdugo, he has a 115 career WRC plus against right-handed pitching. He improved his defense dramatically in right field. And, you know, I know people are going to say, well, how's that going to translate to left field? Well, left field at Yankee Stadium and right field at Fenway are very similar. Right field, you know, at Fenway is really difficult to play. And left field in Yankee Stadium is very difficult. Right field in Fenway is very difficult. All that stuff. You're going to have a guy who's probably going to hold it down defensively there. And, of course, the big thing for me, I think, is the ability to, you know, put the ball in play. That's something I think the Yankees really value. I actually think that the Yankees could get a little bit more power out of a guy like Alex Verdugo. I think he would have had 13 more home runs over the last 3 seasons had he played at Yankee Stadium. He is the type of guy who could profile to maybe, you know, I guess take more max effort swings is kind of the way I would look at it. He reminds me very much of when Max Kepler this past season, he had a breakout year, and a lot of that had to do with more aggressive swings. It came with a few more whiffs, but I think that's fine. Like if Alex Verdugo goes from striking out 13% of the time to striking out, you know, 16, 17% of the time, but it comes with a power increase, I think the Yankees are going to take it. Overall, like this is better than having Kevin Kiermaier in the lineup, most likely. Defensively, it's probably not, because Judge's going to end up patrolling center, and he's obviously not the defender that a guy like Kevin Kiermaier is, but Verdugo can improve your defense in left field. If you end up getting Juan Soto, he doesn't have to, you know, deal with the cavernous left field that kind of, it actually plays well to him. Soto in right field works fairly well because his arm is really good. You know, his range is poor, and that's something that really works in right field. So, you know, overall, Alex, offensively, it's probably better than whatever we thought the Yankees were going to do in center field. So I can't hate, right? Like, it's not going to be Trent Grisham. Trent Grisham might be the better defender, but again, like, we wanted bats. We were sitting here and saying we don't want to watch a bad offense again. Alex Verdugo certainly puts you towards that direction.
Absolutely. And here's the main thing, I think, when you're looking at Soto and Verdugo, and I think this is something that's kind of flying under the radar, specifically for Verdugo. The guy is healthy. You know what I mean? He plays a lot of baseball. 3 consecutive years, you know, Verdugo has played 146 games in 21, 152 in 22, and 142 last season. And, you know, we know Aaron Boone, we know Aaron Judge and Cashman have referenced the idea the Yankees want to improve their batting average. And look at this. I mean, look, Verdugo, at the very least, hit 289, 280, 264. Took a little bit of step back last year. Hopefully, he can get back on track in 2024 and up 280 and above. On base rate, a career best 367 back in 2020 during the COVID season, but in 2021, 351. Look, he's a fine player. He's a lefty. He can probably hit 10, 15 plus homers in Yankee Stadium, which is okay. Can hit with some runners on base. Doesn't strike out a lot. High batting average, decent defense in the corner. He can play center field if you desperately need him to. I think this is a fine player to have as a transition option for the Yankees. Now, obviously, this is a one-year deal type of player. The Yankees could go out and they could have went and got Kevin Kiermaier. Clearly, that's now off the table. They didn't want to spend the $10 million for him. They said, we'll give away cheap pitching, and we'll get Verdugo at maybe $8 million in arbitration in the final year for 2024. So this is definitely interesting. I mean, Greg Weisser is a net neutral. Like, he doesn't do anything for us. Richard Fitz could have been something. Obviously, does not going to impact us anytime soon. And then Nicholas Judas, who was a draft pick recently. Guy's like 6'8", a lot of potential there. Sucks to pass up on something like that. But, you get a guy like Verdugo who is... he's healthy and durable. And I think that's something that is kind of underrated. The Yankees are trying to get younger. He's 27 years old, trying to get younger, trying to get more durable, and trying to get lefty bats in the lineup. And Verdugo checks all of those boxes at a really reasonable cost. So, if the Yankees can improve his power a little bit, maybe there is something to actually consider here in terms of his slugging capabilities and improving his home run rate. Hard hit percentages, 37.6% last year, 5% barrel rate, 89.2 average exit velocity. There's room to improve. 7.3% barrel rate back in 2021 was his career high. 43% hard hit rate. There's some untapped potential with Verdugo that could be leveraged in Yankee Stadium. So we'll see how that kind of goes. But let's talk about kind of what's unfolding here on the Soto situation and exactly how this impacts the outfield. Honestly, I'm excited, man. Like, this seems like it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when, just a matter of how long, and who's gonna break it at this point. So I'm excited to hear your perspective on you go get Juan Soto. Who are you leading off in this lineup right now? Like, is Verdugo leading off for you, or do you have Soto kind of as that number one, number two guy? How does that change the top half of this order, these two outfielders?
Yeah, so against right-handed pitching, I would lead off Verdugo just because I want to have that Soto back-to-back combo now with Judge. Verdugo has a career 346 OBP against right-handed pitching, a career 109 WRC+. Honestly, if you wanted to lead off Soto, makes more than enough sense as well because he is an unbelievable, he's a guy who has an unbelievable ability to work walks. He's the best walk rate in baseball, the best OBP in baseball, not just since he's debuted, but since 2021 as well. So if you wanted to do that, that's fine. Could you hit Judge second, then do Rizzo third, Glaber fourth, Verdugo fifth, something like that? I don't know. I think Verdugo actually profiles decently well for a fifth spot as well because of the fact he's a contact hitter. And if you think of the hitters ahead of him, Soto, Judge, Rizzo, Glaber, those guys all have a knack for getting on base. And so, in my opinion, at the very least, that indicates to me that both of these players, or that all four of those players would be able to get on base enough. And Verdugo has the contact skills to, drive those guys in or, put the ball in play and move guys over, right? Like, that's fine. I know Stan hitting 6 may seem controversial, but the numbers last year indicate he should be hitting 6th or he should be hitting 7th. Like, he's not a middle of the order hitter right now. I know that Boone mentioned he's going to be a little leaner. He's going to try to play the outfield, which that's definitely encouraging for his health, but that doesn't tell me anything about the bat, right? Like, I don't know what his offense is going to look like next season, and I'm not going to rely on Giancarlo Stanton to drive in runners in the 4th, 5th, or even the third spot as well. Looking at the bottom half of the lineup, you have Wells, you have Volpe. I know that Boone just confirmed that DJ LeMahieu will be the starting third baseman. That's fine with me. I would have preferred to see Peraza get everyday reps, but somebody's going to get hurt. Like, that's just life. Somebody's going to get hurt. And also, Aaron Boone was like, hey, Gio Urshela's going to be the starting third baseman, right? Or starting shortstop, entering spring training. And then they traded him less than a week later. So, I'm not going to buy into this idea that the New York Yankees are not going to give Peraza a chance. It just indicates to me that LeMahieu's the guy who is the incumbent, right? That's who they view as the incumbent. Peraza will have to earn that job from LeMahieu. And I certainly think he's capable of it. But remember, guys, LeMahieu put up a 101 WRC plus and was a plus defender at third base last season. So, you're getting an average hitter and a plus defender. You throw that on top of, Verdugo's a solid player. Guys like Rizzo can be a lot better this year. Glaber's a good player. Judge and Soto are your superstars. And suddenly you've got the foundation of a pretty good lineup and a team that's going to go out and probably finish in the top 10 in runs scored. And, barring them trading King and not getting a starter in free agency, they're also going to be top 10 in preventing runs, which should make you a playoff team in my eyes.
It should. It definitely should. And look, Soto and Judge together could carry an offense. So, adding some other decent bats is obviously ideal. But guys, this is crazy. This is happening. So, wanted to give you a little update on the Alex Verdugo trade, our reaction to it, a little bit of insight into what he offers. He's a fine player to have until Dominguez is ready. It's obvious, right? He is going to be a free agent next year. Dominguez will be back. They've even opened up the idea of Dominguez moving to left field and Soto being in right and then Judge in center. That could be the future of the outfield for the Yankees. And look, maybe you'll have a couple of defensive liabilities, but that outfield and that offensive upside, you traded every single freaking day of the week for that level of competence in the batter's box, because they're going to make up for any defensive errors that they do unfortunately make. So we'll see what happens here. Maybe, and look, for what it's worth, we still have Giancarlo Stanton, and he's a fine defensive player. He's not a bad defensive player, and you could swap DHing with him and Soto in the future as long as, Stanton is healthy and can play the outfield. He's probably a better outfield. He is a better outfielder than Soto. So I do feel as though maybe there's something to be said about that as well. And Boone seems to think that Stanton's going to bounce back in a big way. Look, I know he has to say that, and we're praying to God that he's right. I am still certainly cautious about that tale, but for what I believe, I think Stan still has plenty of talent, and there is a way that he comes back from these past 2 bad years and performs well, because I think that a lot of pressure is going to be off of him if they do get Soto. There's going to be a lot for the Yankees to really find in terms of production. So, guys, always happy to your thoughts below on the Alex Verdugo trade and much more. If anything breaks, we've got you guys covered as always with the updates on every single platform. Appreciate you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.